Hello and welcome back to the channel. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, may well be the best video game film of all time. Some would say War Games was it, but for me, War Games is a Cold War thriller that happens to have some computers in it. And besides, the games it works with are just computerized versions of tic-tac-toe and the like, not what we'd understand as a video game today. Tron could be another suggestion, but the original Tron is not really very good. And whilst I do actually like Tron Legacy, that film doesn't really engage with the concept of games beyond them being the reasoning for some early action sequences. Elsewhere, you have a range of films that go from the bang average forgettable likes of Tomb Raider through to cinematic messes like the Super Mario film and Street Fighter. Both of those admittedly can be fun in the right circumstance, but you never say they were good. The same can be said for the Resident Evil series, which, let's face it, took the names of things from the games and not much else. And before anybody mentions Ready Player One, that film is terrible. So what is it that makes Welcome to the Jungle the best video game film? After all, it's not actually directly based on an existing game at all. The key here is rather than try to translate an existing video game into something that a mass general audience will understand, Jumanji instead uses well-trodden video game tropes to tell a story about learning to believe in yourself with an adventure along the way. It's a classic family adventure film repackaged for a modern age. It's a trick that others have tried before but not pulled off. Here the film successfully marries its elements. Fun is made of video game tropes, but never in a way that feels mean-spirited. We do have a character who is seen as the video gamer, a requirement for the film structurally to have someone around to explain some of its key concepts to the audience. And whilst that character's emotional journey is based upon learning to be more socially confident, he doesn't start as the stereotyped loner we so often see portrayed in that position. The real genius move is the use of the avatar concept. It allows the writers to quickly put their characters into unfamiliar roles for themselves. Spencer, the aforementioned gamer, becomes the physically capable alpha male embodied in the form of Dwayne Johnson. Fridge, the football player, finds himself no longer able to rely on his physical stature, becoming the diminutive Kevin Hart. Meanwhile, Bethany, who relies upon looks as the popular girl, finds herself a dumpy middle-aged Jack Black, and Martha the Wallflower becomes Karen Gillan's glamorous woman of action. The dynamics created by these body swaps form the foundation of the film, upon which the adventure elements are built, and it allows for both character-based comedy and drama, alongside action-orientated cliffhangers as each character grows into their newly found roles. The central four performances are excellent, light touches that really sell the body swapped concept, as well as often playing off the actors' existing personas. Whilst the avatar concept is used for this main thrust, other video game elements are smartly deployed. For example, the use of multiple lives is cleverly deployed to create tension. This setup allows the film to demonstrate the dangers surrounding the characters, comedically and dramatically, as well as build the suspense of each character coming down to their last life. Elsewhere, we have the concept of levels used to lay the foundations for the escalating action set pieces, the bag of items that allows for useful items at the right times. The video game concept also goes some way to excusing the shallow villain, although to be honest, the villain threatening the world of Jumanji is a somewhat secondary concern, as the central thrust of the film, as mentioned, is the characters' emotional journeys. And coupled with a surprising turn of melancholy in the film's second half, as we encounter a character filled with regret about being unable to learn the lesson the game is trying to teach him. And this is the key thing that makes the film succeed where many other video game based films fail. It's not simply about the spectacle, although it often does look incredible. It's rooted in well-written characters thrown into a smartly crafted dynamic that drives each of their arcs. Spencer and Martha both become more confident, whilst Martha and Fridge learn to look beyond shallow S-backs and appreciate their other talents. The film works because it takes video game tropes and uses them intelligently to tell a story in a new way. The elements which are potentially confusing for general audiences are smartly delivered, although it is fair to say that such gaming tropes are increasingly part of the cultural knowledge base. It's not about forcing an existing game into the shape of a familiar film structure, but instead taking these video game elements and using them to refresh a familiar story of characters learning about themselves whilst running from wild animals and bandits. It feels like a successful coupling of the conventions of film and games, instead of a case of forcing one into the mould of the other, as so often is the way with video game based films. A very enjoyable film, Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle is certainly recommended. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and see you next time!